Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. Hey, what's up, guys? Doing another post commentary for another PB. So first things first, you're probably gonna notice pretty quickly that I'm running on Spanish, so voices are on Spanish, while text is on English. The reason for that is that Spanish voices are the fastest in this game, by quite a bit, compared to other languages, except Italian. So you're kind of forced to use Spanish if you want to get a good time. Right here we chill at this spot instead of going to where we're supposed to go, because after a while we get teleported, and waiting for the teleport is faster than actually walking here. What else can I say on beach? So this first level I'm on right now is kind of just cutscene. That's like 1 minute and 20 seconds long. Can't really do that much to save time here, except for what I just explained with standing still in that one spot to get teleported. In this part you also just wait. Most people just stand in front of Janet to block her for fun, but you can do whatever you want. This level is also pretty straightforward after the first like 5 seconds. So once this cutscene ends, you pick up throwing knives from this lady here, and you have to immediately equip them, then throw them at a guy, and then turn around to pick up a key, and then turn around again. And that's kind of difficult, like aiming at his head quickly while also equipping the key, and like positioning yourself to be in a good spot. Still mess it up sometimes, but apart from that, this level is very straightforward. So let's see if I can pull it off here. Yeah, that was pretty good. When you open the door and you're off. This movement is actually kind of slow. I should just turn my camera on that part. I don't know why I started walking diagonally there. On that second one, it's actually better to go diagonal in my opinion, but on the first one it's wrong. Because on the second one it's easier to get a good line, and on the first one it's not. And the reason why going diagonally is better is that you don't have to turn your camera after the next corner. You can just stop holding D and only hold W. Okay, so that slide to the side there happens quite rarely. You have to kill him at like a certain point in his animation or something, and then he slides to the left like that. It saves a bit of time because it makes it so his body is closer to the car, and so you have to walk less. So yeah, that was a really good first split. Let's see if we can keep going this quickly. This part is also just a cutscene, you have to just wait for this guy. On this part I like to align myself with the texture on the floor here, stand in a certain spot, because you have to stand close to him anyway, and if you stand in the correct position he like kisses you like this. I started doing that just so I don't forget to stand close to him, honestly. I know everyone calls me gay because of it. Actually, there's a lot of reasons why people call me gay. So anyway, here we kind of jump through this wall. What happens is this flashback starts now, and then once the flashback ends, I'm still sort of jumping forward, but like I keep my forward momentum, but the wall isn't loaded yet, so you like just go through it. It saves. And that doesn't work on any wall, it's on that wall in particular because it would later disappear anyway because of the explosion. So yeah, you're on the other side of the wall and that saves like a few seconds. Right here, the ending of this cutscene sometimes starts fading out more quickly. So let's see if it happens here. And it did. So that's what I call like a fast fade out, as opposed to a regular fade out. Probably saves like a second. Maybe, I don't know how much it saves actually. It's somewhere between a second and like 2 seconds. And it's basically just luck whether or not you get it. It's somewhat rare, but I actually got it on my last 3 runs in a row. So maybe there's some sort of pattern to it that I'm like... Maybe there's something I've been doing recently that I haven't been doing before. I don't know. So on this part we kind of ignore the guys for now. Obviously I was supposed to hit that guy, but I managed to miss. So there's actually a new strat coming up. We just triggered this cutscene. And while this cutscene is going on we kill these guys as usual. And pick up their ammo. But now we actually have a use for their ammo because there's actually a gap between this glass and like the wood. And we can shoot this guy when he opens the door. And that immediately opens like the first door. And so we can just run through here and slap Winslow and everything. Skips having to wait for that guy to go to the first door and open it for you. That's like 2 seconds faster. Let's see if I can press this button quickly. Yeah, that was pretty quick as well. So this Winslow bank is looking really good. At the end of this level here, we like drop down a ladder and take about 40 fall damage, but sometimes you die because of a fall damage calculation bug. But luckily that didn't happen this run.
Steve Rowland queda arrestado por el asesinato de William Sheridan.
I can't really say how often it happens. So I just got a 719 bank, which is, as you can see in the bottom right, 3 seconds faster than I've ever like gotten before. So at this point I'm like stunned, because I didn't even know this time was remotely possible. And I'm like getting nervous because of how good this run is after like 2 splits, which is pretty unreasonable, but whatever. And now my goal is basically just to continue this good pace, but lose any unnecessary time, and stay on best pace ever for as long as possible. And conveniently, I have a bit of time save on this level as well. Doesn't look like much because it's on like 0.6, but this level is very straightforward, and you can pretty consistently do it without losing much time. So I should save a bit here. This turnaround here right at the beginning is like one of the 2 difficult things here. Because you have to turn around by like, I don't know, 270 degrees. That was pretty good. Okay, so that guy getting shot makes him stop, and so it kind of is in your way. Kind of unfortunate that that happened, but what can you do? So you might be noticing that I'm holding a brick right now. I need that for the end of this level. And in the meantime I'm just gonna run past everyone. Opening these 2 doors quickly is also kind of tricky. And yeah, like the turnaround at the beginning and opening those 2 doors quickly are kind of the only tricky things in this level, really. I guess this jump is kind of tricky too if you're new, but it's not very tight. So here's where I use the brick. You can just kill him without having to stop at all. And that's why you want like a melee object. So yeah, that was a pretty good FBI as well. And now we're on to roofs. And roofs
No parece que te alegres
is a
de verme.
level with a lot of variants.
Así que no mentías. Realmente has perdido la memoria.
Pero, ¿tú quién eres?
And the variance comes from two things. The first thing is that you have to kill a lot of enemies with a sniper rifle over long distances. And if you miss them once, then because of the low fire rate of the sniper rifle, you lose like more than a second. And then the second thing is that you have to wait for Jones, which is this beautiful lady in front of us right now, to hit certain triggers. And sometimes she's just like a bit slow. For like no reason. And also, I golded the split in my... Well, I didn't gold it, but I tied my gold in my PV, so... it's gonna be really hard not to lose time here. So right here, I'm gonna shoot this guy from very far away with my pistol. Not to kill him necessarily, but just to deal more than half damage, so that I can now no-scope him with my sniper rifle. That no-scope isn't actually as difficult as it might look, because you can actually align your crosshair while you still have the pistol equipped. Like while you're like changing weapons, it still shows the crosshair. So it's not that hard. But in this case, it's actually kind of lucky that I still got it, because I didn't manage to line it in time. So let's see if she turns around quickly. That was kind of slow. She can sometimes turn around before she even starts sitting down at all. No-scoping that guy behind the table is kind of tough. But this wasn't the worst thing in the world. Also, you may be asking yourself why I turned around at the start of that fight to kill the guy that's like very on the building very far up and behind me. And the reason for that is to make Jones start moving as quickly as possible, because she starts moving once that guy's dead. And if you don't kill him, then you have to wait for her to kill him. And it's kind of random how long she takes to do that. So killing him yourself is safer and faster. Doesn't matter if you miss that guy, cause if you kill him later, then John still starts moving at the same time, so you can miss him once if you want. If you want. It doesn't matter if you miss him, is what I'm trying to say. Those doors look kind of weird. Never noticed that before. On the building that just exploded? I don't know. Maybe just imagining things. Turning around to kill these guys here. To make sure that Jones doesn't die, because I noticed she was somewhat low on health. Yeah, 51. Wasn't really necessary in this case. It's necessary when she's at like 30, I guess. You should probably do it, but at 50 you kind of don't need to. So for this final part you can either use the revolver or the sniper rifle, because you need to kill a bunch of guys quickly, and the revolver has like a higher like speed ceiling, so to say. So I use it, while the sniper rifle is more consistent. That was like okay. Ideally you wouldn't need to reload at all, but usually you do. Yeah, that's 4 seconds to gold here. It's kind of bad, but still in best place ever. So on this level there's a somewhat recent route change, where we started picking up an assault rifle grenade to use on the next level. I'm gonna point out when we pick it up. Okay, that was kind of unlucky that I only managed to kill one of those guys. But what are you gonna do? Means the other one is probably gonna block me once I try to get out. So this guy right here has the assault rifle grenade. Loses like 2 seconds to pick it up. He can be in a lot worse spots than that. Sometimes he's like right in your way and you lose a bit of time by getting stuck on him. It's also quite important to pick up the body armor on this level, because it just conserves so much health for you, and you really need health for the 3rd level in Emerald. And picking up the body armor only costs like a fraction of a second. Okay, so on this level our goal is to destroy 4 generators. The first one is right here. We're gonna try to shoot with a pistol over a very long distance, and I hit it in 2 shots, which is pretty crazy. Pistol is kind of inaccurate, so it's kind of luck based how many bullets it takes for you to destroy it. And 2 is the minimum amount, because with the first one you destroy the glass, and then with the second one you destroy the generator. That's the 3rd one, and now we're gonna go to the 4th one, which is what we use the AR grenade for. Because it's in this like small building, and we can shoot it below the building, and then it will destroy the generator that's inside. Now that's a pretty recent discovery. It actually saves quite a bit of time, because that, like the lock on that building takes 5 seconds to open. And you also don't need to walk towards the building, you can just shoot the nade from a bit farther away. Overall the new route saves like 5 seconds, which is quite a bit in this game. Because this game is like not the most difficult speed game, it's somewhat easy to optimize. Gold! And I golded. Didn't really pay attention to how fast I set up the nade on the last generator. I think it was decent. I don't think it was exceptionally good though. So I can probably improve that gold. So this is the longest level in Emerald. It's mostly because it has a lot of cutscenes. But it's also the one where you're the most likely to die. In any percent at least. I don't know about 30%. Probably in 30% with the strats I do, I die in the first level the most. 30% is basically hard mode. You just take more damage. The main reason you die here a lot is because you can take fall damage on a later part, which I'm gonna point out. So my health situation right now is pretty decent. I have full body armor, which you almost always do at this point, because that guy we just picked up some extra ammo from. And 50 health is okay, it's kind of low, but it shouldn't be a problem, unless I take a lot of fall damage. I could kill that guy, but for some reason I didn't do it. In this situation it would have probably been better to kill him, because I think I have a decent amount of ammo. And if you have ammo issues, there's a lot of ways to back it up. So here you can take a lot of fall damage, which I ended up doing. So I picked up that extra med kit. It's kind of unfortunate that I had to do that, but with 14 HP, it's really risky to play this part. Because you still get shot from these guys, and then once you're outside here, there's more enemies as well. But I killed them quite quickly. There's also a medkit here on the left, but I skip it because I'm already at 28 health and it's like enough. I only pick it up when I'm at like less than 15, probably, maybe less than 10 even. This flashback is kind of weird. Sometimes very strange stuff happens with this flashback. Like sometimes you don't get teleported out of it, or it takes longer to finish. But it's very rare, to be honest. Like never happens. Also, you may notice that I'm at more than 25 HP, which means that I would have survived without the medkit. But I don't think that means that it was wrong to pick it up, because the likelihood of me dying was very high.
Tenga, es un intercomunicador.
Only like decision making mistake I made on this level was not killing the guy before the checkpoint. In my opinion.
Por fin, mis cigarros. Fíjate en esa maravilla. Hay que ocuparse de él. ¿Listo? ¿Estás preparado, hijo? Oye, grandullón, ven aquí.
So on this ending part, we're basically just waiting for Karen to get to the end of the level. So we just like run outside here so that he starts moving, and then we just basically wait. Like on this part, I could get stuck for 5 seconds and it wouldn't matter. So you just pick up the ammo from these guys so that you have enough for the next level, and then you're good to go. So how much time am I losing? 3.5. It's kind of bad. But it's to be expected if you pick up the medkit. Although I probably picked it up in the fastest way possible. I also closed the door behind me after I picked up the medkit, which lost like an extra bit of time. Probably should have done that. So yeah, on this part you just kill all the enemies, and then the last one you kill as the key card. That's why you can't just run past the ones outside or anything. You can't beeline the guard in that room. You have to kill everyone. Then on this part, you equip a grenade, and you throw it at these guys in hopes that it kills all of them. And sometimes it doesn't. But in this case, it was pretty much perfect. I actually got pretty unlucky with that recently. I think I failed that like 3 times in a row before this run. This lever is kind of hard to hit, but I hit it like immediately, which is pretty lucky. Sadly, I didn't notice that I hit it immediately, so I lost a bit of time to do that. But that guy didn't die, which means I have to kill him now, which loses a bunch of time. Only 3 seconds. Still pretty good Emerald 4. It's like losing 3 seconds on that level is probably pretty average. That's like the most average time loss you can have on that level. Probably I could have killed that last guy with my 6 remaining assault rifle bullets, but it seemed risky at the time, so I switched weapons. Might have been incorrect actually. Maybe I should have just gone for the assault rifle. But I guess when you're already ahead, then kind of makes sense to go safer. I don't know. This level is somewhat similar to Roofs. You pretty much just snipe everyone as quickly as you can to make sure that character starts moving as quickly as possible. That turnaround from him was also decent. He also has a bit of variance in how quickly he reacts.
Sí, adelante.
El helicóptero está tras esa colina. ¡Vamos!
You always have time until he walks all the way to the back of the cave, but yeah, you have time until he walks to the back of the cave, so if you take a bit longer to kill the enemies, he doesn't lose time.
Otro lanzacohetes justo enfrente. Adelante.
But then how quickly he turns around is somewhat random. These two enemies I just kill are basically the only enemies where it really matters how quickly you kill them, I think. For the other ones, you just have to kill them within a certain time frame. Okay, so the left guy walked all the way over to the right guy, which he sometimes does. Makes him easier to kill, definitely. So I welcome it.
No dispares. Es Jones.
For some reason I went out of the way to pick up their ammo. I don't really know why I did that. It doesn't matter anyway. I guess it can matter in some situations. So, yeah, on this part we also just have to kill all the enemies as quick as possible. It's kind of difficult because this gun seems kind of inaccurate, and also this guy hides behind the hill, it's hard to kill him. But overall that was pretty good Emerald 5. And I'm on best place ever again. Yeah, this run is pretty good. Lost like I don't know how much I lost to some of this actually, but can't really complain about losing like 6 seconds in Emerald overall. So this level is called XIII. It's one of the more interesting levels, let's say, in the run, because you have to kind of manage your health for the next level. I took 24 damage at the beginning, which is decent. Sometimes you get faster without taking any damage, but can't complain about 76 health. The reason I was turned around there was to delay the spawning of these enemies that are shooting me now, in order to conserve a bit more health. Kind of means you're taking a less optimal line, but it's worth it for the health. Okay, this is the hardest slope jump in the game, so I failed, obviously. But I got second try, so that lost like 3 seconds or so. Which is still pretty good. That jump only saves 8 seconds, but you still kind of have to go for it. Even though it's so hard and only saves so little time. That's 3 seconds lost to gold. Kind of a theme in this run. So this level, it's mostly just cutscene, and then you do one trick. And it's still like one of the longest levels. So we're gonna go in this cabin and talk to Kim. And then this is usually the time in the run where you like drink some water or something, which I'm also gonna do now. So, as soon as this cutscene ends, I'm going to turn around and shoot a guy that's like somewhat like above me on like a raised like ledge on like the high ground. He's on the high ground. Let's call it that. And that guy has a rocket launcher, and I'm going to then use an unintended jump to get up to where he is and pick up his rocket launcher. And that rocket launcher is going to let me skip this entire fight sequence that's about to come up. Because after the fight sequence, there's like a scripted event that involves an explosion to like open the path to like the end of the level. But if you get a rocket launcher, which you're normally not supposed to be able to get, then you can just create an explosion with a rocket launcher and go to the end of the level that way. You have to be careful when you kill the rocket launcher guy though, because if you kill him right after he's shot, then his rocket launcher will be empty. So you have to wait for him to reload. And also he only has 2 rockets in total. So you can't take too long to kill him. I actually don't know how many bullets I have right now. Best case scenario you have like 6, which is a full magazine. But I often have less. Kind of depends on how accurate I was on the last level.
He identificado a 3 miembros de la conspiración. Se dirigen al campamento de los Spats para asistir.
So let's see if I can pull this off.
Tienes que ir allí.
I hope my explanation was easy enough to follow. It'll make sense once you see the level, hopefully. So now I'm gonna turn around and try to kill him. And, okay, so what? Now my revolver is empty and I'm kind of panicking because I don't know how to kill him. So I decide to just reset. And try to kill him again. And then I missed a slope shot. I forgot about that. Wow. Man, what a terrible killer too. So yeah, now I have this rocket launcher. And I destroy this wall with it. You can't really see it, but there was like a bunch of rubble in the way of that door before, and then after the explosion it was completely gone. So yeah, the reason why we need to conserve health on the level before this is that you just run outside there and you get shot by all kinds of enemies and then you take fall damage and then you hurt yourself with the explosion. So it's somewhat easy to die there. And if you don't have enough health, you need to pick up like a medkit from inside the building, which loses a few seconds. Man, it was 10 seconds to go, terrible. Didn't even get a sub 32. So at this point, I'm feeling less nervous about the run than I did after Bank, because now I'm like mad at myself for messing that up. And I'm like, wow, terrible run. But I still have to continue because I'm ahead. Feels bad, man. Before that level, the run was actually still really good. And yeah, because of that mistake. Not really happy with it anymore, but what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so the reason why I didn't kill him the first time is like, I swear that I only like tapped my shoot button, but like for some reason he just kept shooting as if I held it down. Probably like my brain told my finger to stop clicking and it kept clicking. So it's my fault, but what are you gonna do? Killing that guy is also incredibly annoying to practice because so I never practice him because you want to kill him like through the open door, and if you reset from like the checkpoint after the cutscene, then the door will be closed every time. So to practice it the way you would like killing him in runs, you would have to watch the cutscene every time you try it. And that's like way too annoying because, I mean, you saw how long the cutscene is. It's like 2 minutes. And like if you open the door first and then kill him through the door, then he will be in like a different position, so it's kind of different. I stand in this spot so that that guy doesn't get stuck on anything. He like follows you like horizontally, I guess you could describe it. And then if you like just walk through the corridor, then he will get stuck on something. So right now I'm doing a trick called Instant Door. I'm trying to make it so that this fat guard doesn't move as far as he's supposed to by getting hit by him. And that sort of delays his movement, because he stands still while he's hitting you. And right now he's actually not in the spot where he's supposed to be during this cutscene. And then after the cutscene he's supposed to walk towards the door and open it. But by delaying him in a certain way, he's gonna open the door from the spot he's supposed to stand in during the cutscene instead of from right in front of the door. So he doesn't have to walk all the way through the door, and that saves about 5 seconds. For a while we theorized whether it was possible to get up here on these vents without killing those two guards. But we figured out that even if we could get up here without killing the guards, it wouldn't actually save any time because you have to get inside that room that you open with the key anyway. So no one's looking for a possibility of doing that anymore. The reason these guys are so close to me is because I position myself in such a way that they would spot me through, like, fuck, what's it called? Like the fence thing. Whatever. So on this level, basically you have to try to equip all of these keys as quickly as possible so you don't lose time by just standing in front of the door waiting to equip the key. It's kind of unique in that way. I don't think there's another level that has this sort of mechanic in a speedrun. But I'm pretty much past that part with all the inventory management now. Right now I just need to get to the end and try not to get killed. But I'm pretty low on health suddenly. Normally I would just run past that last guy, but since I was already low on health I decided to kill him. I usually survive this low with less than 25 HP. I was actually considering turning around at the end there to kill that pistol guy that was shooting me, but I decided against it because I felt like I was very likely to survive. But he definitely could have killed me if I had gotten a bit more unlucky. By the way, there's a mechanic in this game where enemies can headshot you as well. And that makes it so that they deal 3 times as much damage. Which you can't really control whether they headshot you, it's just RNG. So normally there's only 4 guys in this corridor, but at the beginning there was an extra guy, which happens sometimes. It's a bit inconvenient when it happens, but it's not the end of the world. There's a new strat coming up here, where I climb this shelf like this. Before you would open like multiple of those drawers and kind of build a staircase. So you'd have to jump like 2 times to get up, and now you only have to jump once, and you're also closer to the vent. So that saves probably like a second. And it's a pretty free time save. Now coming up is Johansson. Johansson is the first boss fight of the game. It's also, in a way, the most difficult one. Because his movement is very erratic and unpredictable. And you have to kill him in 3 revolver magazines, which is 18 bullets in total, and it takes at least 17 bullets to kill him. So you want to avoid reloading if possible. And right away he moves to a weird spot where he's not supposed to go. But I managed to kill him in 3 magazines. Nice. So right now I equip my my fists before I equip the key. That's a bit of a key detail, so to speak. Get it, because I equipped the key. It actually allows me to save a bit of time after this cutscene. Because after this cutscene we open that cell with the nurse inside. And what we used to do before is we still had the revolver equipped, so we took the nurse hostage and then like knocked her out. And we need to do that to open the doors to get outside of this room quicker. But now since I have my fists equipped, I can just punch her in the face. And that's even faster. So that's like another 2nd or 2 times. But it also makes the guards spawn more quickly. Oh boy, this is... wow, that's actually... that was quite dangerous. If that shotgun guy would have hit me really hard, I might have actually died. I'm usually not in risk of dying at the end of this level, but... Huh, my... Previous segment best, minus 0.00. I wonder if there was a gold or not. Like a real gold or like a fake gold. Because the auto splitter is kind of inaccurate. Man, now I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah, usually at the end of that last level I'm not in risk of dying, but... Now, if you slap the lady like the way I did this run, then the guard after that room is way closer to you and they can do more damage. So maybe I should pick up an extra medkit, because there's already like a medkit I've skipped in that level that doesn't lose any time. So maybe I should start picking it up again. Jesus Christ, I can't talk. By the way, I completely forgot to say anything about this level. This level is actually really interesting because of all the slope jumps you just saw me do. They save tons of time. This level would usually be quite long, but thanks to those jumps it's very short. Sadly I messed up that last one, which is also the one that saves the least amount of time. And probably the easiest. So I lost 3 seconds again. What? I'm always losing 3 seconds. Sick. Okay, so I neglect killing that AK guy. And right now he's picking up the rocket launcher. And now he just shot me with a rocket launcher. Amazing. Like, that completely caught me off guard during the run. I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense. How did I get shot by a rocket? I killed the rocket guy. And now I'm super low on health. And I'm like panicking a bit, so I'm using the wrong weapon right now. Usually use the revolver here. And okay, so right now I'm going this top way rather than going the bottom way, which I usually do. Because up here there was a medkit which I just picked up. So I basically did it for safety, even though it loses a bit of time. Also up there there's a sniper rifle, which is useful for killing the last enemy on this level. But I already picked up the rocket launcher at the beginning, so I can just use the rocket launcher instead. Both of them, like, there's a lot of good ways to kill this last guy, but usually you just have access to the revolver. So let's see what I go for here. I go for the sniper rifle, and then I miss him once. Nice, good job me. Go for the most skill-based one, mess it up, even though you have a rocket launcher. I think I actually meant to equip the rocket launcher, but I forgot that I had a sniper rifle and I only scored once instead of twice. Also, you may have noticed that at the start of this level I paused by accident. The reason for that is that I had to skip a cutscene, which uses the same button you used to pause, so I accidentally double tapped the pause button. Happens sometimes. Oh, this time? Man, Canyon 2 lost 5 seconds. Pretty bad Canyon, but Pirog was pretty good at least. The cutscene skip you just saw me do, by the way, is somewhat difficult, I guess. It's pretty risky, because if you get killed by those guys, and you may notice I have only 10 health right now, if you get killed by those guys, you lose 40 seconds. So basically the run is completely dead. And if you hit it, then you only save 20. Well, 20 is actually a huge time save, but yeah, it's pretty risky. And like, if you wouldn't be able to Goomba those guys, and by Goomba I mean that you jump on top of their head and they die immediately, then you wouldn't be able to do that cutscene skip because you only have weapons with pretty low firepower on that level, and they both wear helmets. So with the pistol you would have to shoot them both in the head 4 times each. And with the crossbow you would also have to shoot them in the head 2 times each. Which takes way too long and they just kill you.
Steve Rowland, el hombre cuya identidad he usurpado.
I recently found out that this searchlight doesn't do anything, you can just walk through it, but in this case it didn't matter, because it was in the way. It's funny how, like with the stealth levels in this game, you just run through them, guns blazing. It's not stealth at all. But when I play this game on Twitch, it still forces me to be in, to have the tag stealth, because this is considered a stealth game.
Aparentemente Majola ha montado la misma tienda que usó en la tormenta de Mesía. No creo que te resulte difícil reconocerla.
So right here I get spotted by this guy,
Pon el micro detrás del
which I do on purpose. And then I just shoot him when he tries to hit the alarm button. There's actually a safety strat you can do during this cutscene, where you stay outside of this tent and you just kill everyone while the cutscene is going on. I haven't learned how to do it yet, but probably gonna learn when I go back to hard mode.
Señores, acérquense. Aquí número 11, ¿me reciben?
Doesn't really matter anyway in any percent.
Buenas tardes, número 1. El presidente Galbraith aún cree en un simulacro de...
It means that you basically have to be moving during the entire cutscene, and I'd rather just like chill, because this is like the last cutscene where you can really like properly chill during the entire run. In this cutscene you like barely have enough time to like take a piss and like get a drink or something, and during all the other cutscenes that are like later in the run, like there's still long cutscenes later in the run, but during all of them you have to like do something. You need to like move your mouse or like move around and follow a character or something. So this is like the last one where you can leave your computer for an extended period of time. By the way, in case you don't know, like these important documents I'm picking up on some levels, they like give you like a skill, I guess they're called in the game. For example, the one I just picked up allows you to use crossbows and sniper rifles without your mouse moving while you're zoomed in. Like usually the mouse like moves by itself. Man, that was a really good door entry. That was like the best one I ever got. You need to wait for the guys to open the door for you, and you have to make sure that at the same time you don't like lose the run because of the alarm triggering too early. Kind of hard to time it sometimes. And you also can't allow yourself to get stuck on the guys while you're trying to get in the door, because then the alarm is gonna trigger for sure.
Buen trabajo. Ahora sube. Rápido.
You know, that body looks very strange. I've never noticed it before, but he looks like he's sort of in a running animation, but he's like tilted 90 degrees, so he's like lying on the ground in a running animation. Yeah, I don't think he normally looks like that. I'm gonna have to check some other runs. That looked weird, because I think normally he just lies on the ground normally as like a normal corpse. Weird. So this is a level with a lot of shooting. So it's kind of uninteresting in any percent, because you can't really die here. Also love walking straight lines, as you maybe notice it.
visto mucho tiempo. ¿Cómo puede hacerme esto?
So coming up is the second boss fight, which is against McCall.
Voy a cargarme a ese maldito tren.
McCall can deal a lot of damage, but you just heal, so
Oyendo.
you usually don't die.
Número 1 había subestimado tus habilidades.
You have enough
Pero
medkits to survive him pretty
mejores al
easily.
equipo, ¿me oyes? Oye, hablemos de esto. Tira las armas.
Just run up to him and then shoot him in the face. So it's like one M16 magazine, and then before your ammo runs out, you switch to the M60. What? Okay, so right there, I actually try to get behind him while I'm shooting him, in order to knock his body in the direction where I need to go after I pick up his stuff. I got that idea during this run. I never tried to do that before. Seems like a mini time save. That's somewhat easy. The document I just picked up is a better healing document, or a first aid document, depending on what you prefer. It makes it so that medkits heal you for twice as much. So now instead of 25, I heal for 50. And the big medkits heal me to full health instead of healing me by 75 HP, but that change doesn't matter. I guess it can matter in some circumstances, but usually it doesn't matter. This guy right here has a grenade, and I don't pick it up. Kind of unfortunate. You want his grenade for a later level, but it's not too important. You may remember that on the second level I said that you drop down a ladder, and due to bug and fall damage calculation you sometimes take more damage and you die. The same thing can actually happen on this level as well. Both on that earlier part where you kind of drop down, like right after the part where I complained about not getting the nade, you can die from fall damage, and you can also do it here when you drop on his head, but I got lucky this time. At this point I'm kind of unhappy with the run, after all that time was on Canyon. As you can see, I'm 10 seconds behind best ever, so I've gotten much better runs to this point, and yeah, I'm kind of disappointed, but I'm forced to continue because I can easily PB. So this split is called the easiest level, but in reality it's anything but easy. This first guy that I'm walking under right now can randomly spot you sometimes. And then on this next part, you can also get randomly spotted sometimes. And if you do get randomly spotted, then you lose 20 seconds. Which is a lot. So, do I get spotted? I do not. So I got lucky. But it's not quite over yet. I still need to get into the door behind Captain Edelbright. This next door. It locks itself after a while. And I managed to get inside, and yeah, that's basically the level. It's the shortest level in the run, but it's also probably the one with the highest chance to kill your run. If you do get here. And now on best place ever again, because all the runs that were faster than this one that got to this point died to that level. Pretty unlucky. This level is the third boss fight against Captain Edelbright, as you may have guessed. It's also somewhat interesting because there's sort of two ways to do it. For the first way, you get stuck on the door that leads into his fight. And for the second way, you just enter normally. So let's see what I do. Okay, I get stuck on the door. And... oh, okay, I got unstuck. So, ideally you get stuck on the door, and then you don't move toward this end of the room during this cutscene, and you just stay at the first part where he's moving towards right now, so you're closer to him and kill him more, and you can kill him more quickly. But this way is fine too, it only loses like 2 seconds probably. So yeah, you just shoot him in the face, pick up his key, and then get up here. Pretty straightforward fight. The document I just picked up is useless, it allows you to breathe underwater for a longer period of time. Which doesn't matter in a speedrun. And now I'm walking backwards in order to pick up another document. This document is very important. It allows us to open doors, or pick locks, I guess, twice as fast. Which is gonna be very important on a later level. And the reason I walk backwards to pick that up is because that hatch takes so long to open that you can just get up there and pick up the document without losing any time. Right now I would like to have a nade, which I didn't manage to pick up on the on an earlier level, so I just have to kill these guys with my assault rifle. Killing them with a grenade is a lot easier. And ideally you want all of them to be dead, because they can mess up your aim on this next hook jump. And this hook jump is quite difficult. Well, it's not difficult, but if you get aim punched, then you just kind of die. So that was like an okay jump, I guess. Could be faster. What I'm doing right now is called dolphin jumping. Because you kind of jump in and out of the water like a dolphin, I guess. It's slightly faster than walking speed, which is why we do it. And also a lot faster than swimming speed, which is more important. It's only useful in a few spots, because of how rarely you are in the water. Okay, so this level is my last major time save in this run. Okay, let's see if I can hit these grenades. Yeah, looks like I did. That's a pretty cool strat, but anyway. So at the end of this level there's a boss fight against the helicopter, and you can only kill the helicopter with an RPG, so a rocket launcher. And it moves around somewhat unpredictably like Johansson, but you have to hit it with like your bazooka rockets, which move around pretty slowly. So sometimes you just like miss the helicopter because it decides to move. In a weird direction. So let's see if I can hit it with every shot. These first two ones are pretty free, and the third one is like semi-free. And I also hit it. And now I basically have to get lucky because it's hard to predict where it's gonna move. I was actually completely sure that one would hit, even watching it right now, and somehow it missed. It's pretty unlucky. So yeah, I missed one rocket, which I guess is average. In my PB I missed a lot more. Or I guess in my PB before this one. So next level is Hotel. Hotel, probably the interesting part in Hotel is the beginning. You have a bunch of different ways to do it, but I obviously do the fastest one. So you let this lady like spot you, and then she will try to follow and kill you if you do it in the right way. And then once you're here, you turn around to take her out, while you're standing on the other lady to pick up her minigun. And then here, after you open the door, you try to switch to this microphone as quickly as possible. And you look at Winslow with the microphone in order to, like, sort of start the cutscene. and then you can stop using the microphone for a second to pick up the medkit and then just start using it again. It's kind of weird how this works, but I guess you can, like, the logic behind it is that you can stop using the microphone and let the timer run out at first, because the conversation isn't happening yet, so you're not, like, missing a part of it by not recording it. I guess that's why it works the way it does. Man, until now I actually thought it was a bug, and now I realize it's actually on purpose. Wow. Ubisoft makes great games. So yeah, this is a long cutscene, but you can't get a drink or anything, because you have to keep following Winslow with your mouse. It's kind of annoying. But it's pretty cool casually that you have to do it like this. By the way, if you look in the bottom right, where it says previous second best, you can see that I still lost 5 seconds on the last level to my gold split, so even though I saved a lot of time, it was still kind of bad. I think those 5 seconds were all from the helicopter fight. Because, I mean, I guess I lost like a tiny bit of time at the beginning. Maybe I got stuck somewhere? I guess I wasn't really paying attention. But yeah. So, let's see if I exit this cutscene quickly. It was kind of subpar, but it wasn't awful. That was quite a nice lever pull, at least. Kind of makes up for it. Coming up are 2 more boss fights against Winslow and Willard. So the fight against Winslow also has like a normal enemy instead of the boss fight, but we just ignore her on 90% because you don't need to worry about your health, and yeah, she's just not of importance. You just spam your double miniguns at Winslow and you kill her. You kill him. Kind of got stuck on the pool table, but it didn't really matter. Now equip the revolver, because it's better at long distances than the minigun. And after this cutscene ends, I'm gonna shoot Willard with his revolver and deal like tons of damage to him before the fight really starts. And then just finish him off. So yeah, that was a pretty good hotel. Do I gold it? Gold! I do. Nice. So yeah, at this point I'm 20 seconds ahead, which is pretty nice, but like really, I know that at this point that I'm probably not going to be satisfied with this run. And yeah, so I try to make it as good as possible, but I'm not really that nervous, I guess, despite being far ahead. In my mind at this point, the only thing that can redeem this run is a rare time save that can happen on the next level, which I'll explain in a second. So on this ending part, killing these guys with a pistol is kind of hard. I had to practice it a lot recently, but I got it down perfectly on this run. And picking up that guy's AK is pretty important, we're gonna need it later. And also he has body armor, which is quite nice. His body armor means that we can skip another medkit in later level, which costs like 2 seconds to pick up. So it's pretty nice. Spam E to destroy the cross, and off we go. Okay, so at the start of this level, at first we're sort of chilling in the starting area while this cutscene here is going on, between these two guys. And then once the cutscene is over, they're gonna move to the right, and you're supposed to like wait for a while until they're like through. But instead I'm gonna run behind them and slap them to knock them out, and I'm gonna activate the checkpoint. And you have to hope that you don't trigger the alarm while doing this. And that didn't trigger the alarm, and that didn't trigger the alarm. So I don't need to checkpoint reset. And that's the rare time save I was talking about, and that saves like 5 seconds. So yeah, that's pretty nice that I got that. But then I missed that lady, because I'm not used to actually hitting that. So now I'm like, wow, maybe this run can be good after all. I wonder if I still have time saves left. And I guess that remains to be seen. Equipping the pistol because I need it for the next level. You can also do this beginning part with throwing knives, but it's way harder. So that's... You probably didn't notice it, but on the first level in Sanctuary I actually picked up a pistol at like the well area. Like if you fail to pick it up, which is somewhat easy to mess up, then you have to do the beginning part either with a safe strat or like the beginning part of this level. You either have to do it with a safe strat or with throwing knives, and you really don't want to do that. This is another cutscene where we can just chill, but it's only 40 seconds, like 30 seconds. So it's not really enough to go to the toilet. Might be enough to get a drink depending on where your drinks are located. I really like this cutscene though, because I like the metaphor of the dawn of a new era. Probably my favorite quote from this game. Now waiting for the objective to complete, and then we're gonna drop down. And this part is why the body armor is important, because we're getting shot quite a bit. But we'll make it. Gold! And I go that level by a second, wow. I actually forgot about that, and now I'm 30 seconds ahead again, and I'm like, wow. This run is actually kind of good now. I hope I don't lose too much time on this level. Yeah, this level, it's very easy to lose time here on the ending part. On the ending part you have to kill like a bunch of enemies, and a lot of them are far away, and since they're far away, your weapon's accuracy and also your own ability to aim can kind of push to the limits. So this part is easy. You just like chill on the zipline, you reload your weapons for the upcoming fight, and you shoot these guys with the crossbow. And now I missed this lady because she starts moving earlier than expected. So now I kill these guys with the AK, even though I would normally kill them with the pistol. And I'm low on AK ammo, and everything's messed up. Killing these chopper guys with the minigun is normal. But then also that guy doesn't die. And now I have to hope that I can kill this guy in one pistol magazine, which I managed to do. So yeah. Lost a lot of time to the guys on the left, lost some time on the right, because I had to reload an extra time. And then I paused by accident during this cutscene.
Eso justificará nuestra presencia.
Pretty bad Senko 4.
Coronel Marshall, usted y yo vamos al puesto de mando.
But it's okay, because I'm still 27 seconds ahead. This is also another long cutscene, but you have to follow this guy so you can't piss. I'm actually wondering, let's say following scenario. I'm currently on a PB phase run during this cutscene, but I really need to piss. So I get my friend to follow Sheridan around during this cutscene instead of me, and then as soon as the cutscene ends, I'm back and I continue playing. Is that a valid run? Because, like, it's supposed to be like a single player run, so the same person plays the entire time. But it doesn't really matter during this cutscene, because anyone can follow Sheridan. So, don't really lose time even if you're a worse player. I don't know how I would rule that, to be honest. I guess if anyone... But under normal circumstances you wouldn't even be able to tell that someone else is playing anyway? I don't know. I'd have to ask my fellow moderator, so you would decide in that situation. Probably Daftos thinks it's valid. Because I'm usually a lot more strict when it comes to long runs than Daftos. So yeah, that was like 2.5 minutes of basically waiting. Now we get to the interesting part of the level, which is the basement. So right away we're starting off with a checkpoint reset to reset the cycle of the guards. Almost exited the main menu. This is a stealth mode where we're like slightly more stealthy, I guess. Because there's actually a few guys that we snuck past. Hitting that elevator button despawns that guy. He was actually about to like go hit an alarm button, but since he despawns, you don't need to worry about him. Okay, this part is pretty straightforward and easy. You wait for the one guy to spot you, and then you miss this guy, and then you kill yourself. Yeah, hitting that guy is like completely free. You just like hit him forehead. But I managed to mess it up somehow, and now everything's horrible and messed up, and I need to improvise. I wonder if I would have still been able to kill him before it triggers the alarm if I wouldn't have gone to the side there to avoid him spotting me. So yeah, pretty much lost 10 seconds on very easy level for no good reason. That was actually the second time I missed someone with the chair in this run. Pretty sick. The one on Winslow Bank was just foreshadowing. One on Winslow Bank didn't even really matter. It was just this one that was absolutely horrible. Pretty straightforward boss fight. You do need to shoot him like twice before you shoot the Arnold in his face, but
Dios mío, hay que detener la operación antes de que sea demasiado.
pretty free.
Lleva al presidente a un lugar seguro y busca a Sherry.
He also dies from a single magazine, if you want to save an Aeronade. Which there's actually like a new route for this last part of the game, SSH1, where you use Aeronades for the final boss of the game. But I haven't learned it yet because it seems really hard. Well, not. It seems hard to learn it and save time. And it only saves like 2 seconds. For now, I'm just gonna stick with what I know, to be honest.
Los Spats preparan un golpe de estado. Están esperando las órdenes de Calvin Wax para lanzar el ataque. Debemos neutralizarlo.
You can also slap this that green guy that was just standing there, not hitting the buttons. That guy you can slap, and then you just pick up his ammo if you want, but you don't need it because there's so much ammo in that room anyway, and you don't really use it. This part is pretty sick, but you can softlock here sometimes. I actually got a run here pretty recently that was 5 seconds slower than this one, and then I got softlocked, but this run it's not gonna happen. So for the softlock you kill every enemy, but since one of them didn't spawn, this cutscene right here doesn't start. So you need to start the level from the beginning. Pretty stupid that can happen, but sadly there's not really a way to avoid. I mean, I guess there is a way to avoid it. It's just like not doing the strat I do, but yeah, I'm gonna keep doing the strat because it's fast. I'm pretty sure it's because of the strat, because I never used to get a softlock on this level, and then recently it's becomes somewhat common, probably like 10% of the time.
Es demasiado tarde. Deme los códigos de acceso, rápido. ¿Los códigos? Por aquí.
Maybe like 15%, 20%. I guess 20% seems accurate. So yeah, you can trigger that cutscene from the outside there instead of actually being next to him. And that way you can pick up some extra stuff. And it's also faster to trigger it that way by like half a second or a second. You mostly do it because it saves time and not because you want to pick up stuff. Unless you do the new route, in which case you actually want the extra stuff because you pick up an extra Aeronade, which you need for this level. So yeah, this is SSH1D, the final level. Well, not really the final level, but the final level that matters. We fight the final boss here, but not before we do some sweet other stuff, like this hook jump. Now we're gonna equip a grenade, and we're gonna throw it at this closing door, and that's gonna stop the door from closing. Makes it so you don't have to take a major detour to save 20 seconds. And then that door has a like a hole in it, which you can shoot the Aeronade through to destroy all the stuff behind it. Which is what you're supposed to do. And now we're off to the final boss fight. And you can enter the fight in a certain way, and then I can shoot during this cutscene for some reason. And actually beat the first phase of the fight during the cutscene. which also saves about 20 seconds. This level is pretty broken. Now that I think about it. And then you can shoot him from behind the ladder. But I don't do that anymore. Instead I just run at him to force him to go backwards. So yeah, with the new route, in the first cutscene of the boss fight I shot him with the M60, but instead with the new route he would shoot AR grenades at him, and that kills him a few seconds faster, because you can already hit him with the explosions while he's still behind the rocket, so you start doing damage earlier. Yeah, that's basically the point of the new route.
Enhorabuena, hijo. Eres un héroe. ¿Cómo se siente, Wally?
¿Ya ha terminado todo? ¿De verdad?
Ya lo creo.
And losing a bit of time. What did I lose time to? I wasn't paying enough attention to know what I lost time to be honest. I guess I didn't close the slide door. I don't know. By the way, throwing that nade against that slide door works probably in my quote-unquote opinion, because like you throw the nade against the door and then the door probably thinks that it like hit the wall that it's supposed to go up against, and so it thinks that it's finished closing when the like grenade hits it. So anyway, like this run is okay, I guess. Overall, I'm definitely gonna keep trying to improve it, because I mean I lost 10 seconds in SSH1, I lost 10 seconds in Keller 2, and like 2 pretty easy levels, so I can definitely do better. Probably my goal time is like 1:23:20 something. Depends on how much lower I can push my sum of best, which I don't really know. Maybe Criminal is right, maybe I can get 122. I can't really say it's impossible to get 122. It's probably gonna be possible at some point. I don't know if I'm quite there yet, but 122 is definitely possible. But hey, for now I have a 123. Yay! And it's not even good. It can be pretty annoying to run against the 719 Winslow bank though. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. And let's see what Kenzie from the past has to say about this run. Let's see what my reaction was.